Jenna had reached her breaking point. After years of frustration and keeping secrets, she was sure that leaving was the only way forward. But just as she was about to go, she felt Oscar's hand grab her arm. "Don't go," he pleaded, his voice soft but urgent. Before she could answer, the next words he spoke completely stunned her. "Hello, my friends. I'm Linda, and this is Linda's Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this tale." Jenna and Oscar had been soulmates since childhood, though they hadn't realized it at the time. They grew up on the same quiet street in a suburban neighborhood, where kids played freely on the sidewalks and neighbors gathered for weekend barbecues. Jenna, with her brown hair always tied in 2 braids, and Oscar, the boy with glasses and an easy smile, spent endless hours exploring the neighborhood, building cardboard forts and inventing fantastical stories. As the years passed, their families moved to different parts of the city. Life took its course, and the memories of those golden days became treasured keepsakes in their minds. But fate had other plans. As adults, Jenna and Oscar accidentally crossed paths again at a local cafe. Jenna, now an elegant woman with expressive eyes, immediately recognized something familiar about the tall and charming man who walked in. Oscar, in turn, felt his heart race when he saw Jenna's warm smile. They started talking and quickly discovered how much they had in common. Both loved music, adored traveling, and dreamed of having a large family. What began as a casual encounter turned into dinner, then a series of dates, and before long, they were completely in love. It was during a dinner at Jenna's parents' house when the big revelation came. As they flipped through old photo albums, Oscar picked up a picture that caught his eye. His gaze widened in surprise as it was the moment they had been waiting for. Finally, their dream had come true. The following months were a whirlwind of emotions and preparations. They transformed the guest room into a nursery, painting the walls a soft shade of yellow. Oscar spent hours assembling furniture, while Jenna carefully organized tiny clothes in drawers. Every ultrasound felt like a new adventure. When they discovered they were expecting a girl, their happiness seemed almost too much to contain. The big announcement to their families came during a special lunch. Jenna and Oscar had prepared an elaborate meal, keeping the news a secret until dessert. That's when they finally revealed it, and their families shared in the joy of their long-awaited blessing. There was an explosion of joy. The grandmothers were already planning the baby shower, while the grandfathers joked about who would be the favorite of their little granddaughter. But fate had other plans. At 5 months pregnant, Jenna began to experience pain. A trip to the hospital confirmed the devastating news. They had lost a baby. The world seemed to crumble around them. The nursery, once filled with hopes and dreams, had become a painful reminder of what could have been. Oscar, especially, was deeply shaken. He had bought so many gifts for their daughter. Colorful bows, delicate shoes, storybooks to read at bedtime. Now those things seemed to mock his shattered dreams. There were times when Jenna would find Oscar sitting alone in the nursery, holding a small dress and crying silently. The months that followed were difficult. Jenna and Oscar leaned on each other. But there were moments when the pain felt insurmountable. They sought counseling, learning to cope with their grief while trying to keep hope alive. Then, almost without warning, Jenna discovered she was pregnant again. But this time, fear overshadowed the initial joy. Traumatized by the previous loss, she was afraid she would disappoint Oscar once more that night. Jenna's mind was spinning with dark thoughts. She felt like a failure as a woman, incapable of giving Oscar the family he so deeply desired. The guilt of hiding the miscarriages was eating her up inside. In her tormented mind, an idea began to take shape. Perhaps Oscar would be better off without her. Maybe he could find someone else capable of fulfilling his dream of having children. The next morning, with a heavy heart and tears in her eyes, Jenna packed a suitcase. She didn't have a concrete plan, only the painful certainty that leaving was what was best for Oscar. She would write him a letter, explaining everything, asking for his forgiveness, and wishing that he would find the happiness he deserved. With a trembling hand, Jenna opened the door of the house, ready to take the step that would change their lives forever. It was in that very moment that she felt a firm hand grasp her arm. It was Oscar. His eyes were filled with a mixture of fear, love, and determination. "Don't go," he said, his voice both firm and gentle. "Before you leave, you need to hear this." Jenna froze, her eyes wide with surprise and confusion. How could he know? She had been so careful to hide everything. Oscar's voice was full of emotion as he continued, "I know, Jenna. I know about the 2 pregnancies you lost. I've known for a long time." Jenna stood there, paralyzed. How could he have known? Her mind raced, unable to process it. Oscar stepped closer, his voice full of love. "I know your body, your moods, your personality. I knew when you were pregnant. I anxiously waited for you to tell me. And I knew when you lost the pregnancies. I'm your husband, your friend. We're one." Tears began to fall freely down Jenna's face as Oscar spoke. He pulled her close, holding her hands firmly in his. "The day I married you, I didn't promise to be with you only for the good times. I promised to be with you through it all. The heartache, the challenges, and everything in between." Jenna's heart began to ache even more as the weight of his words sank in. He wasn't just her husband. He was her partner, truly by her side in all things.